Welcome to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Happy Friday. And welcome, a special welcome, to all the haters and the losers. We may have some extra eyeballs today due to an event that took place last night where I decided to attend a Jasmine Crockett rally, a town hall of sorts in South Dallas. Now, this particular event was sponsored by George Soros and his PAC, that is currently being sued by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. It is called the Texas Majority PAC. And I went there with a mission, and I would say that it was mission accomplished at Jasmine Crockett's event. Watch.
I used to stay at my granny's house. She was one of my favorite people in the entire world.
Jasmine! The people of Dallas deserve better than a fake ghetto hood rat.
Get your ass out of here. Get your ass out of here.
Get her off me.
Get him out.
Get off me.
Get out.
Get off me.
I'm not on you.
Get her off me first. Get her off me first. Yes, she is.
I'm standing still.
Do your people know you're a spoiled rich kid from Missouri? Don't touch me. Get it. Get it. Fuck you. Fuck you. Get off me. Get off me. Get off me. Get off me. Get the fuck off.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Are you proud?
Just in case I gotta cuff you up. Let's just go.
For what?
Let's go. I'm telling you.
Yep, that was me fighting the takeover. You know, they tried to make it sound like Donald Trump. That's the takeover, the fascism. That's Donald Trump, right? Except you tell me why she spent all night, her and her buddies spent all night calling us fascists, and yet they don't seem to like it when someone criticizes the government, is all that I'm saying, because she sent her goons over to immediately put hands all over me, lift me from the ground, and hoist me out when I would have been happy to just leave. A woman gets in my face, she assaults me, she claims she's standing still. It's so weird because she's hitting me as she's saying that, and I'm the one whose safety is in jeopardy, and yet they're scared of little old me. So it's just interesting that, you know, they want to talk a big game about fascism and dictatorships and all of that. And I think this is what the First Amendment was actually created for, was to give me the right to criticize the government. Now, I understand those who say, well, that's a private event, Sarah, you can't disrupt it. That's fine. And they could have asked me to leave respectfully rather than putting hands on me. So now you probably saw the headlines. They did the thing again. The left did the thing again where they think that they're insulting you and actually they're just making you look really cool. They did it to Donald Trump earlier this week. They called him Batman. And that was like really awesome. Like, who would not want to be a superhero? They called him Batman, crime fighter in chief. And now they're calling me MAGA host. Here it's chaos ensues after MAGA host shockingly interrupts Trump's nemesis. Get off me. And chaos as MAGA celebs crash Jasmine Crockett town hall. Fake ghetto hood rat. Insane moment. MAGA host crashes Jasmine Crockett's town hall. So I wore my MAGA necklace just like as I wanted to just, it's a special hello to all of the left who think that it's somehow an insult to call me a MAGA celeb. Like, I was like, that's awesome. That sounds super cool. And then you had, let's see, Stephen, I'm going to get this ready. The Daily Mail, where I was like, boy, that's when you know you've really made it. You got a Daily Mail article written about what happened. Confronting Crockett. MAGA TV host kicked out of town hall for hurling shocking insult about Democratic Representative Jasmine Crockett. And they said Gonzales, who has billed herself as everyone's favorite spicy Latina, called Democrat a fake ghetto hood rat and a, quote, spoiled rich kid. Show me the lie. Show me the lie in all of that sentence. Am I not everyone's favorite spicy Latina? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Now would be the time. Let me know in the comments. Is there someone else who is your favorite spicy Latina, or is it me? Show me the lie. Is Jasmine Crockett not a fake ghetto hood rat? Is she not a spoiled rich kid? Show me the lie. But I actually think that the person who wrote this article, let's see who it is. Stephen, thank you. The person who wrote this article, Martha Williams, I don't know who Martha Williams is, but I think Martha Williams is a secret fan, because Martha Williams went through, she grabbed screenshots of what happened, sure, but she also went to my Instagram and she took like very cute pictures of me and put them in the article. Here's another one down here. Let's see. There it is. I think Martha Williams is a secret fan. Shout out to Martha Williams, because I think she actually really appreciated this, if I'm being honest with you. But listen, I saw Benny Johnson's expose. I had Benny Johnson on the show and we talked about it, and I knew I was going to this, but I didn't want to spoil it for you guys beforehand and spoil it for Jasmine, really. And it's time that we stop letting these politicians get away with lying to their constituents with absolutely no pushback. This woman has made an entire career. And by the way, this woman has eaten well in DC, okay? She's gained a lot of weight, which I'm not judging that in its just by itself. But what I'm telling you is she's getting rich off of the taxpayers. She clearly has not missed any meals. And I think she's eating extra off of the taxpayers. She's getting richer off of the taxpayers. Go look up her net worth. You tell me how that happens, how she pulls a Nancy Pelosi building and building and building and building, making $175,000 a year as a congresswoman in DC, where everything is very expensive. You don't gain wealth like that just being a congresswoman and living an honest life. So there's a woman who has come around. Her parents spent $37,000 a year to send her to one of the most elitist prep schools in St. Louis, Missouri. She lived in an affluent area. She had to want for nothing, born with a silver spoon in her mouth. And she turns around, gets herself a seat in South Dallas and speaks the way that she thinks that the people from South Dallas would speak. But let me tell you, she has never in her life understood the struggle of anyone who actually is from South Dallas. And it shows. And that's why what Benny Johnson did was so important, going out there and showing the streets of South Dallas that she doesn't give a lick about. She doesn't care about those people. She can't even relate to them. And she's going to walk around and she's going to code switch and change her accent around different people. She ran for office speaking much more clearly, speaking intelligently. And now all of a sudden she wants to demean herself because she thinks that it makes herself sound from Dallas. I'm offended, and anyone from this area should be offended too. And if I'm going to take my grievance anywhere, I figure it should just be to the source. So that's what I did, except she just didn't like it very much. She didn't like it very much. Now, what I only showed a little bit of was the horrendous treatment that I got from Dallas Police Department, who has a history of not liking me very much. I look forward to getting the body cam footage from these officers to show the full story, the real story. We have pictures of the scratches on my arms from being carried out by security. And I'm just saying, I don't know what this giant goon was scared of. I'm a 5'4" petite woman. Somehow I had to get assaulted, even though I was already turning and walking out. It's very curious from the people who claim to really, really care about democracy and seem to really not want any fascism. I don't know. Maybe they should look up the definitions of all of those words. Is all I'm saying. So I'll say this. See you next time, Jazz. See you next time. I'm excited about my next guest. I think you're going to be really excited to, you might not have heard of him yet. I think you're going to be really excited to meet him. First, I want to, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. We don't want to thank Blue Chew with our next guest, but I want to thank Blue Chew personally. Well, I mean, not personally, but I do want to thank Blue Chew. I can't take Blue Chew. Blue Chew is for those of you who are men. And I don't mean identify as men. I mean, you have penises. That's what I mean. Because Blue Chew is there for, yep, thank you. That's what I mean. Blue Chew is there for those of you who maybe, listen, people talk a lot about ED. They're like, oh, the little blue pill. This is a Blue Chew, not a blue pill. But If you have ED, we can't talk about it. It's embarrassing. I understand ED is a problem, but what I'm telling you is you don't need to just have ED to want to just, I don't know, spice it up in the bedroom. Okay. Thank you. Yes, that's right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The more of the boing sounds, the better. When we talk about Blue Chew and how great sex is only a few clicks away, you can sign up over at bluechew.com. And what they're going to do is they're going to make sure you consult with one of their licensed medical providers. Okay. You're going to get great care from their doctors. And when you're approved, they're going to send you your prescription within days. They're going to send it directly to your door. It's made in the USA. It's not from China. So you don't have to worry about that. And you don't have to worry about you got to go in the pharmacy. It's embarrassing, all that. No. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone. Okay. Just go to bluechew.com. Your first month of Blue Chew is free. Use promo code Sarah at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That is bluechew.com. Well, I want to welcome to the show someone who is running to be the next Texas Attorney General. Now, this is a spot with very big shoes to fill. And some may think, well, it's not important anymore with President Trump at the helm of things. But it is. It is actually a very important position. And I want to welcome Aaron Reitz, who previously worked under the Texas Attorney General's office under Ken Paxton.
That's right. For 3 years, I was his Deputy Attorney General for Legal Strategy.
Wow. So that's that was during Joe Biden's tenure?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So I started right before the 2020 election.
Oh, gosh.
So we were there, and within weeks after the 2020 election, we filed Texas v. Pennsylvania to challenge the constitutionality. 2 days after we filed in early December, we were in the Oval Office with President Trump. We just started swinging.
You talk about hitting the ground running for you.
Oh, yeah, totally right. And then finally, despite our best efforts, Joe Biden gets inaugurated in January of 2021, and we just start suing the heck out of the Biden administration. So
yeah, for 46 times.
So my claim to fame, Ken Paxton always calls me his offensive coordinator, and I was responsible for quarterbacking the Texas v. Biden docket. And yes, I led 46 lawsuits against the 46th president, and it was a lot of fun. It was a robust docket.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, look, that same fighting spirit is what I'm going to bring to the Texas AG. I think a lot of people, like you said, these are big shoes to fill. Mm-hmm. And a lot of folks are happy that Ken is now running for the Senate. Mm-hmm. But then the follow-on concern is, as happy as they are about that, they say, well, gosh, I mean, we're going to lose. I mean, we can't afford to take our foot off the gas for AG. Well, that's in part why I jumped into this race, because if Texans turn the keys of this office over to me, I know how to handle this vehicle. I'm going to keep my foot on the gas, and we're going to keep fighting in an extremely aggressive direction.
So then tell everyone why you think, because I hear it too. People are like, but I don't want to lose him as the Attorney General of Texas because he's so good.
Right.
But then there is a follow-up side of that says, okay, well, but we don't live in a Biden regime anymore. We live in you sued him 46 times, right? So who are you going to sue? Because you're not going to sue President Trump for anything, because he is, of course, who we wanted in office. He's America first. He's going to follow the Constitution. So explain to people why it still is so important to have a strong attorney general in all of these red states.
Yeah, look, it's absolutely mission essential to advance the America First law and order agenda here in Texas. Yes, it is true. Thank God we have an ally in the White House with this Trump administration. Okay, but so the next AG is going to need to partner with the Trump administration in order to advance that justice agenda right here in the Lone Star State. And so no one better to be able to partner with the Trump administration than someone who literally just served in the Trump administration as a presidentially appointed Senate confirmed head and senior executive at the Justice Department, like myself. When President Trump nominated me back in December, he said, Aaron Reitz is a true MAGA attorney and a warrior for the Constitution. That's exactly what we need as the next AG. Now, even though we don't need to sue the federal government in the way that we did with the Biden administration, we do need that partnership. But let me tell you something, and you know this well. The Democrats are like worms that bury into anywhere that they can survive. And so we're talking right now in Dallas, and they control all the major power levers of big city and big county governments. And so we still need to go on offense in these cities, these counties, these district attorneys' offices, these school districts, these nonprofits that are trying to turn Texas into something that it's not. Mm-hmm. And you need an AG who knows how to wield these weapons that the AG has the privilege of being able to get access to in order to go after the left, stop their agenda, and keep Texas free.
Yeah, I think that that's a really great point because, I mean, look at what we are talking about right now with Ken Paxton still, at the helm of the Attorney General's office. We're talking about his lawsuit against Powered by People, Beto O'Rourke's PAC. We're talking about his lawsuit against George Soros's PAC, Texas Majority PAC, who was at my event last night with Jasmine Crockett. And we're talking about, the Texas Democrats who are breaking quorum, who are going to go hide out. You're nice. You call them worms. I usually call them cockroaches. They scatter whenever light comes on.
They do.
And so, they're going to places like Illinois and New York. And who is leading the fight against them? Or I should say, who is leading the fight to hold them accountable? The Texas Attorney General's office.
Totally right.
And it has nothing to do with the federal government.
No, it doesn't. It's like, yes, look, I cut my teeth and I sustained a full body's worth of battle scars going to war against the Biden administration. That's really where I honed my lawfare craft, if you will. But it is true. The nature of the left, the nature of the enemy is totalitarian in nature. And so like cockroaches, it's you turn the light on over here, they scatter over there. So you got to go find them over there and you got to squash them one by one. The fight doesn't stop. Now we have air cover with the Trump administration, with Attorney General Bonnie, with FBI Director Kash Patel. We've got allies. And so our ability to wage war is going to be more effective in that regard. But the left is everywhere you can find them. And you need an AG who not only has a proven track record going after the left successfully, but fighting them in a legal context. This is an executive branch legal job, not a legislative job. And you need somebody who is very competent in wielding those weapons to successfully go after the left. And I'm it.
So then let's talk about what should happen here in the state of Texas. I mean, I know some of it's a national show. So people are like, why is Texas so important? Well, so goes Texas, so goes the country, first of all. But second of all, what's happening in Texas is a really big deal when it comes to the Texas legislature, the Texas Democrats that are breaking quorum, because if successful, obviously this will be the blueprint for all of these state legislatures. We're going to take our ball. We're going to go home. We're not going to allow you guys to do any sort of official business because we're going to throw a temper tantrum that we're not getting our way.
Totally right.
And so it really is important that Texas handles this the correct way. And I'm a little concerned, Aaron. I'm a little concerned today because what I read, you can tell me, I mean, I'm over here working. I'm actually like going to the latest article right now. But last I read, they were calling the special session over today and then calling the second special session, adjourning it also today, a few hours later. And I'm a little concerned that Speaker of the House Dustin Burrows and Governor Greg Abbott and all these people that talked a big game outside of the Attorney General's office, because I trust him. I'm a little concerned that these Democrats are not going to be held accountable for what they just did and the stunt that they just pulled.
I think that they are. I understand that we can look back and sort of say, hey, should we have taken different tactics at different time or what could we have done better? Here's what I'll tell you, though. I am optimistic that this is going to get resolved in our favor. One of two things is going to happen within the next 2 weeks. Number one, either the Democrats are going to tuck their tail between their legs and they're going to come back home. Why? Because they're facing crushing financial penalties. Number two, this is a part-time legislature. They have jobs that they need to get back to as well. So unless they're willing to put their home up for sale or not,
they don't get paid a lot from the legislature.
Right? So they're suffering financial penalties from the House. Number two, they've got jobs that they have to return to. Number three, the fundraising stunt that they're pulling, that's going to dry up. That was hot for like a little while, but the money spigot is going to turn off. And then third, the Texas Supreme Court has consolidated Governor Abbott's and Attorney General Paxton's case so that the briefing on the merits is due this coming week. So what that means is that the Supreme Court is going to render a decision about whether these derelict Democrats have actually vacated their seats. And that decision, I expect, will be publicized within the next 2 weeks. So either they're going to be vacated and then we're going to fill their spots, right? Or they're just going to come right back. I know I have a high degree of confidence that we're going to get our way. So now the only question is, okay, look, we tried to tell you guys to get your butts back here so that we could get the 5 Republican seats in the redistricting line.
Right.
Now, Republicans, I think, and I support this, by the way, let's turn up the temperature a little bit. Oh, you don't like 5? How about 6? And then maybe tomorrow we'll do 7.
Right.
And we just keep ratcheting up the temperature. And these Dems are going to come back. And you know what? They're just going to seethe and we're going to get the maps and we're going to be better represented in the United States Congress and Democrats can go pound sand. That's what I think.
And then they can be put on notice that if you do choose this route, if you do choose to violate the rules and the promises that you made, it will only get worse for you, which is similar to like the lessons that I have to teach my 4-year-old. It's just like, you will not be rewarded for breaking the rules ever. It will just be worse for you. I tell my 13-year-old this too. I'm like, if you lie, it's just going to get worse. If you break mom's rules, it's not like you just need to own up to it now and we can move on.
Yeah.
If you keep digging in, we're going to have a major problem.
I think that's right. Look, and sadly, I don't think the Democrats will ever really learn their lesson, because it's kind of like if you try to teach a lesson to your kids, right? And then you have all of your neighbors and your husband coming in and whispering and telling your kids something different, right? So like, yes, we've got Republican leadership in this state that is trying to get the right thing done, and I think that they're going to prevail. But sadly, the Democrats are insulated, really, from either the electoral or political consequences of their bad decisions. And so the ultimate consequence is something that the Supreme Court is going to, the Texas Supreme Court, is vacate your office. You're out of office. But I think
you think should happen?
Oh, absolutely. I think it should happen. I think all the grounds have been laid. All the elements are satisfied under what's called a quo warranto proceeding
You've already lost me.
Well, there you go. It's
I don't know what
Latin.
that means.
Quo warranto is a look. I won't get into it.
I run my mouth for a living, Aaron. I don't know what quo warranto means. Come on.
Look, it is. I'll tell you this. Bottom line is, it is a cause of action that allows the state to go to a public official, elected or not, and say, you've vacated. You have given up your office through non-use. You have functionally abandoned your responsibility.
Which they did.
Of course they did.
Okay.
So now that's the argument that's being made to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court, I hope, is going to say, we agree with this. See you later.
And it is a Republican Supreme Court.
It is a Republican Supreme Court. In fact,
now federally, that doesn't mean much these days. So I just would like to at least preface it with sometimes you never know.
The Texas,
for the record, it is
a Republican Supreme Court. It is reliable. The overwhelming majority of the times, like I say, and when I started my legal career right after law school, I clerked on the Texas Supreme Court for now Chief Justice Jimmy Blacklock, and I have a lot of confidence in the ideological distribution of the Texas Supreme Court. I think that they're going to deliver Texans a win.
Okay. All right. I hope so. Speak to, if you will, I try to warn people of the dangers of a weak Republican leadership, even in red states, because there are a lot of people nationally who watch this and they're like, oh, you guys are in Texas. I'm going to say this. This is not Aaron Reitz's opinion. This is Sara Gonzales' opinion. You guys have Greg Abbott. You're so conservative. And, there are some times where I'm like, and so, you have people like Dustin Burrows, who he is the head of the Texas legislature, the Texas House. He is the Speaker of the House, and he was elected to that position by Democrats. And if you could you speak on how dangerous it is to give the keys of the castle? You're talking about the AG's keys to the castle. Let's give the keys to the castle to a weak Republican leadership who is going to strike deals with Democrats rather than Republicans. And then what the hell does it matter that we've just elected a Republican majority if you're going to have Democrats leaving the state? But guess what? They're the ones who got this guy elected. So is he going to hold their feet to the fire? And you start thinking, well, hold on a second. This whole thing is backwards.
Yeah. Look, I think that the heart of what you're saying, there is a lot of truth in what you're laying out, that in typically long-standing red states that don't face any real serious competition from the Democrats, you tend to get decades of just complacency setting in, where we have sort of convinced ourselves that Texas is this ultra mega, super duper mega MAGA right-wing bastion. And meanwhile, all of our urban cores are just going hard left. And Republicans, in an environment of complacency, sort of become just managers of decline. Right. And so, but they stay in office because they just keep complaining about the things that are happening on their watch. And so it doesn't really
fundraising off of it, by the way.
Correct, right? Yeah. So it's just this self-fulfilling prophecy. It just happens. It's a cycle. And so, but what I would tell you is that the AG is an independently elected senior legal executive for the state. So that even if there is weakness in one corner of the party or whatever, the AG stands uniquely alone as a sort of leader and who can press in regardless of what anybody else is doing, whether you like it or not. The AG can really press in. I'll tell you this, when I got confirmed by the United States Senate, the senior Democrat on the Judiciary Committee, Dick Durbin, he put out a full-blown press release. I got 0 Democrat votes, by the way, which I was
shocking.
I would have been embarrassed, actually, if I had gotten any Democrat. I was like, where along the way did I make the mistake to attract Democrat attention? No Democrat should be comfortable with me. And so Dick Durbin put out a press release, and he said Aaron Reitz is a danger to the rule of law. Cory Booker, whose only redeeming quality is I do think he has a nice haircut, by the way. I'll give him that. But during my confirmation hearing, he said, it's very similar. It's a good-looking hairstyle. He said that I sent a chill down the spine of he and his colleagues, right? Now, for my opponents in this race, you find me a single unkind word that a Democrat has ever said about them, I'll give you $100. They haven't. Why? Because the left is not threatened by my opponents, whereas national Democrats are utterly terrified. They've called me a danger to democracy. They've tried to dox me, ruin my life, investigate my bar license, and so forth. And so you don't have to worry that if Texans elect me as their next AG, these old worms or cockroaches, whatever you want to call them, they are going to run in fear because they know that I'm the real deal. I have spent my entire legal and political career taking Democrat scalps and nailing them to the wall, and it's just going to get worse for them when I'm the next AG.
My God, don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, right.
So you will be, you're Aaron Reitz, but you will be Ken Paxton 2.0.
I think in a lot of ways, if folks were happy with the way that Ken Paxton led the legal fights of our state,
that's what they want to know.
I think that's right. And yes, look, I studied under him, really. I mean, I studied under him as his offensive coordinator for 3 years. And so my background as a Marine officer, Afghanistan war veteran, Texas Supreme Court clerk, Paxton's deputy, I was Ted Cruz's chief of staff for 2 years, and then ultimately and most recently at the DOJ when President Trump called me a true MAGA attorney and a warrior for the Constitution. That's exactly the kind of AG that I'm going to be. And my foot will not be taken off the gas even slightly. In fact, we're going to press in even harder.
Did it pain you to leave the administration?
Very much, yes.
I mean, it's a legitimate question.
No,
that must have been a hard decision to give up.
It was a very tough decision. Yeah. But look, there's a reason why it took me sort of 2.5 months of prayerful consideration and due diligence. Paxton announced in early April. 2 of my opponents just jumped in immediately because they're like, yes, I get to be governor next. Like they're just waiting for that next rung. Whereas I'm in a Senate confirmed job at the Justice Department. So I very carefully, prayerfully sought the mentorship and advice of Attorney General Bondi, the Deputy Attorney General, Tom Homan, my friends in the White House, the president, his team, all of these things. We had to think about, okay, hey, what are the pros and cons and the risk profiles of me leaving this important job at DOJ to consider a redeployment back to Texas to run for this arguably even more mission essential job. And the bottom line that I think myself, my superiors, and my colleagues came to realize is, look, yes, we would love to have you at DOJ. It's going to be tough to find a replacement for you. But you know what would be really, really, really bad? Is if we bungle this transition from Paxton to whoever's next, somebody who's unvetted, untested, GOP Inc., whatever standard issue, lame, low energy Republican, we cannot afford to have that. The Texas Attorney General presides over 600 attorneys, and he's advancing law and order not just in Texas, although that's the primary mission, but as we've seen with Paxton, he's really turned this office into something that has national impact. Yeah. And if we believe in our MAGA movement, if we believe in the America First law and order agenda, we've got to get the Texas AG right. We can't screw this thing up. And so, Aaron, we're going to miss you, brother, but this is a thing you have to do. God has put it on your heart. He's opened the doors for you. Go and do it. Win this thing, and let's advance the America First law and order agenda together. So I did that. I launched it mid-June. We've raised a ton of money. We've got great momentum. We've got great grassroots support, and we're having an amazing time. And we're having fun doing it, too.
A ton of money, but there's always room for more, right? So
there's always more. Thank you very much. Wow, what a great, that's great. You can go to AaronReitz.com, AaronReitz.com. There's a nice bright red donate button. Yes, we need all the money. This is a big state. It's an expensive state to get your message out. So if your listeners like my message, you got to put fuel in the tank. I know how to drive the vehicle. I know how to keep my foot on the gas. I know how to avoid obstacles and do crazy stunts, but I got to keep fuel in the tank in order to keep this thing going. So AaronReitz.com. I also encourage people to follow me on X at Aaron_Reitz. I'm easy to find on social media. Just search for my name and join the party. We're having a good time. and we're going to win this thing.
And I would just, good luck to you, by the way. This is this has been a really a great time. This is my first time meeting you in person. I would just also like to add to this, as you're just mulling this over in your head. George Soros has invested millions of dollars in the state of Texas, like millions of dollars with his PAC and all of the things that he is doing to turn Texas blue. So if you've got a chunk of change laying around, I'm just saying, like, we need all of the help that we can get, especially with the friends that we have in the Texas legislature. Sometimes I think who needs enemies when you have friends like these. So make sure that you go check him out and pay attention to the Texas Attorney General race. You may think that it doesn't affect you nationally, but I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you, I promise you it does. Aaron, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate having me.
I appreciate it. Keep me posted as well. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to take a break, and then I will be back with another guest. But I want to thank our sponsor very quickly, Relief Factor. So Relief Factor is there for those of you who maybe you've just, you reach the age where you're like, I'm limping, and your friend's like, what'd you do? And you're like, I slept. I don't know. But in all seriousness, if you've got back pain, neck pain, knee pain, whatever pain you have in your body, likely the root cause is inflammation in your body. And unless you're actually attacking the inflammation, you're just masking the symptoms. Don't do that. Try Relief Factor. They've got a 3-week QuickStart pack. And 70% of the people who order that 3-week QuickStart go on to keep ordering more. That's how many people it's working for. So the odds are in your favor. It's going to work for you. So those of you who are watching and not listening on audio podcasts, there's the bag. It doesn't come with all the like fancy fruits and vegetables and nuts there. Okay. But it does come with 3 weeks worth of Relief Factor. Go check it out. ReliefFactor.com. That is ReliefFactor.com. Welcome to the show, Eric July, Blaze TV contributor and, of course, founder of Ripaverse Comics. I feel like has it been a while, or does it just feel like it's been a really long week?
Well, yeah, I was out most of last week, so yeah, I guess technically it has been.
It's been too long.
Yeah, I know.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah.
It's been really interesting watching this battle between President Trump and all of the Democrat lawmakers who apparently just really love crime. Like, love crime. It's their favorite thing because, remember, before we started talking about what was happening in D.C. with, hey, if you're not going to police the streets and keep them clean, we will. But we're also talking about, asking gangbangers to come back to the country when they get shipped to El Salvador. I mean, Democrats now have gone all in on criminals and really honestly simping for crime. And with this, the latest is that D.C. officials are now suing the Trump administration over the takeover of the city police force. And D.C.'s attorney general, who knew they had one? I didn't know. Who knew? They said, we're suing to block the federal government takeover of D.C. police by illegally declaring a takeover of MPD. The administration is abusing its temporary limited authority under the law. This is the gravest threat to home rule D.C. has ever faced, and we are fighting to stop it. And so it's just interesting because, I was having a conversation today with our mutual friend, Alex Stein, host of Primetime here on the network. And we were talking about he said, there's a precedent that this could set, that the feds could just come into, they could roll in with tanks to a city near you. And how would you like it? And I tend to disagree because this is a special carve out that gives them operational control of this particular area because it is the District of Columbia, because it is not, a regular state like Texas or whatever. Number one. And number two, the Democrats have never waited for some sort of, precedent to get tyrannical. They'll just do it regardless. So they're not like waiting for some precedent. They'll just take power and seize power whenever they can, if they feel like it. But I'm interested to get your take as an anarcho-capitalist, how you feel about this battle between DC police and President Trump saying we're going to bring the feds in and the National Guard because someone's got to clean up our city.
Well, that territory, to your point, is special, just because of, again, the law surrounding DC. So it isn't as cut and dry or as black and white.
I think it was like in the 1970s was when they enacted this whole, hey, okay, you can police yourself. So it's not like it's always been this way.
Well, yeah, and again, it is different, and I think it is important if we're going to be at least intellectually honest about talking about that area. I think you are perfectly valid in addressing that part. Like, well, okay, we're talking about D.C. We're not necessarily talking about, I don't know, Dallas, Texas, or what have you. People that are scared, the precedent thing is interesting there, though, because of the reason that you just mentioned, I don't think it necessarily applies to some of the other things that, let's say, a Democrat would do or try to invoke. All the laws that are already in the books, they would try to invoke in order to justify them doing something like this. So I treat them as separate instances. Or in that whatever's happening in D.C., you can argue that those are rival gangs over there going at it, and it doesn't necessarily concern what's going to happen in a city near you that isn't in D.C. At least that's just how I see it. Yeah. I'll be consistent on it. Yeah, it's not ideal. Like if we are just talking about it, given, I don't know, again, random city in Texas, that the federal government would then come in and to say that, okay, we are taking over to do X thing. Sure, I could see where that would be obviously problematic, right? That it seems to be a more centralized approach to trying to handle crime. But look, I also want to be fair to the conversation. Mm-hmm. If you are living in a geographical area and you feel like, well, it doesn't matter how you feel. Let's say that it is overrun with crime, and the people that are in that area have not done necessarily anything to fix it, right? If anything, they've sort of amplified it, made it worse, even maybe with some of the laws that they are passing or what they choose to focus on. You're going to look at this as like a form of liberation. Right. I'm just being completely honest. Yes. It's almost like you are in a foreign country and like, again, you're being overran by these tyrannical people, and then some external force comes in. It's one thing, like I try to see things objectively from both sides of that. If I'm living in that geographical area, would you prefer that external interference? You probably are if you feel like you're at wit's end and the people that are in that area that are supposed to be in control of it, or at least supposed to be in power, are doing nothing to help you.
Yeah, because I feel like it's, we talk about, like during the Biden administration, you and I had multiple conversations about how if the federal government isn't going to do their damn job and protect and secure the border, certainly they shouldn't stand in the way of Texas doing that, because it's our border too. And so I feel like, okay, well then the flip side also has to be true, right? Like if DC is not going to do their job keeping residents safe, at what point do you actually say, okay, you know what, you guys are, I mean, it's not like they're saying, wear a mask for a virus that is like, we're talking about crime, carjackings, violent murders. I mean, we're talking about really big deals. So it's like they don't want to do anything. You have a DC chief of police who doesn't know what a chain of command is. Mm-hmm. You saw that video.
I didn't see that.
Reporter asking about chain of command. She's like, a what? Speak into my good ear. A what now? I mean, it's like, okay, well, if you guys have total incompetent people, they want to help. And how else do you help?
Well, I also think that depending on what it is, and I think you can say that really for any subject matter, right? Depending on what the reasoning is that justifies, or they feel like justifies their action or inaction in doing something, is going to largely determine. It's almost like you're a consequentialist, right? It's going to largely determine what your position is. Is this a morally or ethically good or bad thing, right? And I tend to be a lot more understanding, and I dare I use the term pragmatic, which I often hate that term, in looking at things. But what I'm measuring it on is on the scale of like property rights. Okay. Mm-hmm. And is an act of aggression being committed, and is that other act that you are, let's say, invoking, going to curb that, right? So it's different, to your point, if you're talking about, well, okay, there's a virus with a 99% survival rate and you want to run over the city or run the city, take it over with tanks because of that. Like, that is different from, okay, well, there's this rampant abuse of or acts of aggression happening in this geographical area, and we're trying to rid people of that. You see what I'm saying? One is, okay, people's rights are being violated, right? The other is not, right? So, and I think that can be said, if we're being honest, no matter where you're at on the libertarian spectrum on this, that's kind of like how you have to analyze really everything that is happening. Like that's why I'm always reverting back to private property rights. So the power structure is as is. I might not like it, but I am very aware that that's what's in place, right? I'm not one of those sort of idealistic types of folks and try to look at the world for what I want it to be and ignoring how it is. How it is exactly how it is, right? So I try to be at least practical there. And anytime that you can try to fight off acts of aggression actually happening upon peaceful people, generally speaking, I'm going to see that in a more positive manner. Now, that doesn't mean that you get to use acts of aggression on a different demographic of people just for the sake of saving the others. That's not what I'm saying. Right. I'm saying on net, if we are talking about, okay, we are going to prevent or rather stop the acts of aggression happening upon peaceful people, is that a morally justified thing to do? Is I think the conversation that we need to be having. I don't think people want murders or carjackings and other things happening in their city. I don't like it happening here. I think we spoke about this a few weeks ago when I made the argument, it's talking about what's going on in all these other countries. And I'm like, dude, there are places sometimes in your own metroplex, if you live in one, that for some reason you can't be in because you might have a crime committed against you. That's pretty messed up. That's not a way to live. And the fact that this has become such a normal thing is messed up.
Yeah. And well, I mean, we don't have time, but I would love if we had more time. I would love to get into the conversation of, okay, but at a certain point, you guys need to stop voting for the people who are not protecting you. Maybe stop. Maybe elections have consequences also. So it's like, yeah, right. Exactly. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. And listen, Eric, I'm not going to say that I picked this next subject just for you, but I have a feeling I might raise your blood pressure a little bit. And I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't actually trying to. So we'll see if I do that when we come back. All right. Yesterday, President Trump spoke to the media about what he is now doing with Social Security reform, which I know the left is all up in arms. Anytime you talk about Social Security, they will tell you that Donald Trump wants to take away Social Security from everyone, which I'd be like, okay, and what is the problem? But here is President Trump on his announcement.
And to protect our benefits, we've already kicked nearly 275,000 illegal aliens off of the Social Security system. These are people, many of them have already left the country, and yet we were sending them checks all the time. And 275,000, and that number is now even larger than that, Frank. It's an unbelievable job. And what that's doing is making the system strong. It's making it strong. Biden never kicked anybody off. Everybody joined. And we're carrying out historic deportations to remove many more illegals committing Social Security fraud. It's the Social Security fraud that was taking place at levels that nobody's ever seen.
So if we had time, I'd play the whole thing.
1.4 million names listed.
So all of these names he's talking about, he's saying, which I know the left is like, illegals aren't qualified for Social Security. Right. That's why it's called fraud, dummies. They're still getting it. And so he's removing the illegals and he's removing deceased people from the Social Security rolls. That shouldn't be controversial. Well, of course, the left is up in arms about it. Let's throw up this Tammy Duckworth tweet. Social Security is your money. Hands off is what she had to say. And I'm just wondering, Eric, if it's my money, could I get it?
No, because
why are they taking it from me?
Yeah, you're not going to get it back. If it was absolutely your money and they was storing it in this pretty little safety deposit box, you can withdraw it at any time.
Right.
You can't.
Yeah.
And that's because that's not how Social Security has ever worked. And I think if the American people actually understood this, there will be a lot more folks that are not only for getting more people kicked off of it, but getting it eliminated in its entirety. Right. And I know that there's going to be, of course, those people that say like, well, I worked this and that much. I just at least give me my money. Your money is gone, America. And I really want people to understand it, because I don't want folks to think that, well, like I despise elderly people. Like I don't have mothers and and you know, I'm just telling you the reality of the situation. effectively what Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. And it's just one of the ones that are more like ethically, unfortunately, like justified, right? The money that you are stolen from basically all of the workers now, so you, I, everybody, you're just subsidizing the previous generation, right? That's all that's happening right now. Just like that generation subsidized the one before them. It's the current generation subsidizing the older generation. That's all Social Security is. And I'm glad at minimum we're at least talking about making some adjustments, because yes, there not only needs to be less people off of it, but we need to be coming up with ways so that young people, particularly the working populace, are able to keep their own money and invest it in whatever way that they want. Because if you did actually ended up in investing it rather than the government stealing it from you, you'd have more of it if you just let it sit, right? And you like didn't touch it until you were in your like 65 years old or whatever the age is going to end up being by then, which is going to be much older than that. To be fair, you'd save a lot more money than them stealing it from you, because it's the government. They are inefficient. But we do need to be having that honest discussion, and that's what I do appreciate about. Because anytime you touch it, doesn't matter whether it be people that tend to vote for Republicans or Democrats, any sort of adjustment to it, people start to get up and
hate old people.
Yes, that's exactly what
you
happens.
want old people to die.
Bingo.
It's like, I don't, but also couldn't you say like why, like, I think older people, the older generation should not want that for their grandkids.
Yeah, why would you want to sell off assets of your great grandchildren?
Exactly. So I'm like, well, I could use that same argument against you guys. And the point is that this is a completely corrupt, stupid system, and it has to start somewhere. Reform has to start somewhere. So whoever the quote unlucky generation is, you know what? I'd be fine if it was me.
If I don't see a damn dime of that, I'm perfectly fine. All the money that I've made over these years and I never see it, I'm fine. Just stop the bleeding. That's all I can ask.
As long as my children don't have to deal with it, I am willing to take the hit now. And that's what I think is so lacking from this conversation. It's just like, no. It's like, it's not that. I don't feel any kind of negative way about the older generation. I want them to get that care. But this is a system that is screwed. To Eric's point, it's not like I can just go, Social Security that I pay in my taxes every paycheck, they go put it in a bank account that's only for me that I can. Oh, no, wait, that's not how it happens at all. That's why I thought it was so funny. The hands off. That's your money. It's like, that's so cute, Tammy Duckworth. That is so cute. You actually think that we believe that you think it's our money. We know you don't think it's our money. We know you know it's your money. You're stealing it from us every single paycheck. Of course it's your money. And so people, I think, need to get more used to having this conversation about, no, we don't need to just look at illegals and deceased people being removed from the rolls. That's a great start. But let's talk about upending the system.
I agree.
It shouldn't be controversial.
And again, it's also we're having a similar discussion about like with the welfare state, like with this whole food stamp thing, and people saying that, well, what do you mean? You mean I can't go buy X like bad thing chips and all sorts of stuff with my? What do you mean I can't happen? That can't happen. I was like, look,
not with my money.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. It's like, sure. It is a little more of an incremental approach, and I'm okay with that as long as the conversation is being had, so we can at least start to be honest. Because the longer that conversation is being had where we are being honest, I think the more people are going to start to come around to, okay, well, yeah, there's probably going to be a much better alternative. And not only that, the system that's in place is probably the worst way that you could think of to do that. The only beneficiaries of this really are the government, in that they have this large pool of money that they're able to steal from as far as these the current generation.
Because what do we know to be true, Eric and I? Taxation is
effed.
There you go. Eric, thank you.
Of course.
See you on Monday.